Staying healthy and strong is a big priority for women in our 60s. We know we've got to eat well, we've got to exercise and take care of ourselves. Now, we can do our exercises just as we want when we get into our 60s, but there are 3 ways that we can actually modify them to be better and more effective for a woman over 60. And I want to share those with you and give you some inspiration for keeping moving, keeping exercising, but just with a little bit of modification. My name is Margaret Manning. I'm with 60andMe, and thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. It's wonderful to have you here. Now, our sponsor for today's show is International Living. Now, International Living is a company that helps you to plan your travel abroad. If you're thinking of retiring overseas, they've got all kinds of great advice for you to follow. You can check out their website at internationalliving.com/60andme and ask them to send you some of their reports. They've got an amazing selection of resources and reports. Just give them your email address and they will send them to you completely free of charge. So if you're thinking of moving abroad and retiring in a country overseas, check out International Living. Now, this topic of exercise as you get older is so important. We know that we have to keep moving. We know that it's important to keep our bodies in shape, but we feel maybe that the exercises we used to do when we were younger are just a little bit harder for us, and there are reasons for that. So Linda Malone is she works with exercise with older women, and she is giving us some good advice here, practical things that you can do to make your exercise regime work more effectively for you as you get older. Now, the first thing she talks about, which is very funny, is that, we all think that we're getting older and we've got to, be conscious of that. Somehow it changes our behavior. And she talks about a YouTuber that she watched the other day where the woman was panicking because she was 30 and turning 30 and how awful this was going to impact her life. And she was saying, honestly, this is crazy. You're young. But it doesn't matter how old we are. We think that somehow we've got to change and stop our behavior because we're getting older. And saying that I have to stop exercising because I'm older is, in Linda's opinion, a wrong way to approach it. Now, there's going to be some inevitable changes as you get older, right? I mean, wrinkles, our body changes, psychologically we're changing, and we're dealing with change in our personal life too. Children are leaving home, moving away. People are getting coughs. It's all this talking I'm doing. But, it's just so much going on that you have to kind of be aware and compensate and adapt. And that's the key thing when you get older. Now, one thing that she talks about, for example, is when you warm up for exercise. We're used to just doing stretching and just jumping right onto the exercise machine. But one thing Linda says is when you get older, you've got to warm up more slowly. And you've got to be careful because as you get older, this is a practical thing, your tendons get more hardened and brittle. And so they're more likely to get torn if you're stretching without warming up first. So it's really important that you do that kind of warm up. And I've got a couple of specific things with warming up here that will help you to get into the exercise regime that you love. You love to do the workouts on the machines and with the weights that you're used to, but just do them a little bit differently. So first thing, warm up thoroughly, and this is the one that's probably one of the most important ones. You've got to prime your nervous system for exercise. And you've got to get the blood flowing into your muscles because they need to be relaxed and warm in order to do exercises without hurting yourself. You can do this by walking for 10 minutes, walking in place, doing some light pedaling, but just something that gets your heart rate going a little bit, gets that blood flowing, and actually gives you a little bit of a sweat. You're just starting to feel like you're okay. That's working. Then you can do your exercise on the cardio machine or the weights, whatever you are used to and whatever you love. You can do that, but warm up carefully first. It's important. This is super important, actually, that stretching is not a form of warming up. I don't know, this is something I do. I used to do all the time. That you just start stretching and bending over and doing your stretches. That's not warming up. In fact, it's better to warm up first before you do your stretches. In fact, we'll do your stretches at the end of the workout time because that's when they'll be most effective. Your muscles are warm. They're heated up. You can just, do your stretching more effectively at that point. So there's 3 ways that you can actually modify most of these exercises. Slowing down is the first one. You don't have to rush. You know, when you were younger, maybe you ran into the gym and you did your workout at lunch and you went back. Now, hopefully you've got a little bit more time and you can do it more slowly. So take time to repeat the movements. And one thing that Linda talks about is counting. You know, counting the time, counting the movements, and doing it out loud if you're not afraid of sounding a little bit, outspoken there. But there's, count out 1, 2, 3. Do it deliberately. And just by slowing it down, moving slower, then you get more effectiveness from that particular movement. And don't get distracted. You don't get distracted by other things like you want to get moving, or you've got to get out to get some shopping, or you've got to finish quickly. Just try to focus. If you're going to take the time to exercise, do it properly. And this also applies to any other, it doesn't have to be in the gym. It can be yoga or Pilates. If you're in a class, of course, you're moving to a time. But if you're by yourself, just do it more slowly. Not saying that you have to accept a stereotype that we slow down as we get older. Nothing like that at all. It's just taking care of your body, your changing body. Reduce the range of movement. This is an important one. I really had never thought about this, but when you're a little bit younger and stronger, you can actually do wide movements and just really push yourself a little bit. But what Linda is saying here is don't push yourself so hard. Try the even smaller movements. And I know this is true, like with yoga. When I do my yoga and I take the time to just hold a position and to do it kind of gradually without rushing, and do it kind of with a narrower range, it's really much more effective. If you feel pain, that's not a good thing. So don't let yourself exercise to the point where you're feeling pain. Go to the point where you're just feeling this tension, and then stop. Don't feel like you have to push yourself. Just find that range that takes you just to the point of feeling pain, but don't push. Don't push to the point that you feel bad. It's really important not to feel pain while you're exercising, especially at any point, really. But you can you push a little bit harder when your muscles are a little more softer, and when you get older, they change. So the other thing she talks about is always taking the time to slow down and do kind of that down exercise period. This is where you can do your stretches. This is where you can do your gentle yoga positions at the end of even a workout that's been in the gym, where you've been on elliptical or a workout bike. You can actually do some exercises that involve stretching. You can do the Shavasana. Just find a mat and just lie down and do a complete relaxation of your body, and feel every part of your body relaxing and every part of your body coming back into energy, and just balance it out with that, with a nice workout at the end. So maybe you've got some ideas, things that you do. I mean, what modifications have you used in your working out regime to make it work for you in your 60s? Do you do the same exercises and have modified them a little bit, like in terms of the warm up and slowing down, the range of movement, or have you done completely different things? It'd be really interesting to know what you've done. I mean, it's so important, as I mentioned earlier, to keep working out, and don't give up on exercise just because you're a little older. You need it even more. So try your very best. But I know how hard it is. Trust me, I'm in the group of people that find it hard. But anyway, what have you done to modify your exercise as you get a little older? Thanks for being here, everybody. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that already, and also ring the bell. Press the little bell somewhere that tells you when new videos are released. We talk about all kinds of topics of interest to women over 50, over 60, and 70, 80, older, and look forward to chatting with you again in the future. Have a really great day. Bye-bye for now.